Hello, friends. Let's get everything all hooked up so I don't lose power during my live. All right, we should be good to go over there. Try to make sure I don't got any wires. All right. Oh, this could be a little... Oh, this is pretty good. You can see a little bit of the gray off to the side, but we'll manage. All right. It can be better. Sorry, guys. Hello, Shamia. Hope you're having a good day. Just having it where I wish my phone was just slightly more level. Sorry, guys. That's better. Better. All right. If you guys are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello. Oh, I'm doing well, Shamia. Just trying to get caught up on some crafting projects, and I was a little nervous about today's live because it's a little ambitious for what I typically do, and we'll get into that shortly. Because I kind of had to come up with, like, I don't want to call it a mechanism, but like a specific design for the card to make the idea work. So we'll get there, though. We'll get there. All right. Hello, Kristen and Alyssa and Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, it's quiet at work, so you get to be here. I am happy for you for that. Absolutely. We can all take a little bit of a quiet day. You know, that's always nice. Oh, always nice. Hello, Gwen. Give it another minute or so just to catch up with everybody. Let's see. Move my glass mat down a little bit. Winnie, no, not right now, honey. So, all right. So we're going to get into some card making, and it's going to be some festive card making. And I told y'all we'd do something a little spooky. So it's still Halloween. I mean, I don't know how spooky it is, but it's the idea of Halloween. And I had posted yesterday that for today's live, I did a lot of prep work, a lot of things that would not be done on camera, just because there's a little bit like behind the scenes of when I do a live. I try to come up with ideas that are easy to complete in about an hour to 15 minutes or so. Sometimes I create cards that take beyond that, so I try to take those ideas and shelve them. But for this one, this was one that I made an exception for. So I did in advance, I used the Kindred Toys and Craft Store, and I made some elements that we're going to use for our card. So I've got our toy store all ready to go. But I need to still make a couple more elements, and we're going to be combining some different stamp sets, and we are going to turn this toy store, and you know, toy stores sometimes close. And when toy stores close, they become vacant, and what do they get filled by? They get filled by a Halloween store, of course. So we're going to make a Kindred Spirit Halloween-esque sort of store today. And I'm going to use the magic of acetate to transform this card of this closed down toy store into a Halloween costume shop. So what I wanted to start with is I want to make a second sign because I did that, and I also hand drew a little closed sign that we're going to put in the window, just like that. But I want to make another sign that says Spirit Halloween. So in order to do that, I'm going to set that off to the side. I've got my Misty, and I've got a little piece of Copic coloring paper in there. And I'm going to grab our Kindred Toys and Craft set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sign, and we're going to put it down here, and we're going to pick it up. But I'm not actually going to use this quite yet. What I am going to use is a piece of masking magic. And this is gonna help me be able to use this to create a little toy store. So, and I do wanna say this idea was actually Audra's. So it's not 100% original to me, but Audra was like, this would be a good idea for a live. So I'm like, you know what, let's go with it. So I'm using a piece of masking magic. Put this down. And let me just check some comments. I think it is a very clever idea, Alyssa. It's a little ambitious just to kind of like take it and run with it, but we're gonna do the best that we can with the tools that we have from Kindred, which is always helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take some black ink, and we're gonna go ahead and stamp this down onto my masking magic. And I really just need to do like one impression. I don't need to do it a bunch of times because I just need it once. And I'm gonna grab, we're gonna take this off, and then we're gonna clean off my stamp. I am gonna come back to the stamp. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to try and cut out the store words. Let's say toy store. Perfect. So just like that, it says toy store. Now, what's nice about masking magic is it kind of creates like a low tax sticker that you can put on your project. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna take our Copic coloring paper and I'm gonna remove the back of this. The thing that stinks is I didn't stamp it near where there's usually like a slit in the back. This is my only thing, is when I have to remove backing from things, because I have short little nails. But anyways, we got it. All right, so I've got it. It says toy store. And now I'm gonna take my stamp and I'm gonna line up toy store over the words. We'll go ahead and we'll pick this up and move that down just, oh shoot, did I shift it? I think we're good. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with my ink on 3 blackout ink. I'm gonna stamp, just like that. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead, grab some tweezers, and I have an entirely empty sign that I can customize to say whatever I want. Super helpful. This masking magic stuff is a great little piece to have in your craft stash because it really can help stretch the use of your stamps and not, you know what? So, okay, you know how we watch like videos sometimes, and this is not a slant towards anybody. This is just me with the way that my mind works when I craft. One of the things that I see people do in crafting videos sometimes or in demonstrations that always kind of hurts my heart is when people are like, oh, you could just take your stamps and if you just want to use one of the words, you could just cut it. Like cut it in half and then just make sure they're lined up. And I'm like, oh no. Like I want everything nice and intact. So because I like to keep my stuff intact, something like masking magic really helps me. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do just a little bit of coloring, very, very minimal coloring. Just some purples, because Halloween, of course we want a purple Halloween side, especially if it's Kindred Town. So we're gonna take some V12, put that down. I just kind of like to put it into the corners, like that. Now we are gonna be pulling in some other Kindred stamp sets to help create this sign. And we're gonna be using the horror because that has the word Halloween in it. And I like the size of it, but we're also going to be using Manor Haunts. If you go to the Kindred Stamps website right now, I did want to let you know Manor Haunts is currently out of stock, but I did talk to Audra, and a restock of that is planned for the very near future. So if you like this idea and you like the sentiments I'm using, make sure to keep an eye in the fan club for when Manor Haunts will go ahead and restock. It'll be soon. I love that set. It's one of my favorite sets. Oh, I forgot to color on this side. All right. I'm gonna check comments when I'm done with the border of the sign. Actually very excited. I'll be making a trip to visit said Manor Haunts in the near future. That makes my heart happy. All right, go back. So I live in the Chicago suburbs. I don't know wherever you guys live. I'm sure it's summer, so we're dealing with heat unless you live in one of the places that gets cooler temperatures this time of year. And I know that's kind of few and far between, but we had probably the hottest day of the summer and probably the year so far this week. Pretty hot. And if you guys didn't know, my day job, I actually work for a heating and cooling company. So yeah, it was a little crazy. That's okay. That's what we're here for, but I'm glad that it's cooling off just a little bit so we can catch up and just enjoy some cooler weather. I am personally ready for fall. I also wish, I'm gonna do some digging and see if there's any settings that I can do for my iPad, because that's what I watch my Facebook Lives on. I always miss comments on here because they don't come across my screen unless I like manually reset it. So I'm gonna do that in a second. All right. How is Audra feeling? Audra's okay. She is feeling better. She's just been a little down and out recently, so, but she is feeling better. So I'm sure she appreciates you asking, Gwen. Alyssa agrees about cutting sentiments apart. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't always sit the best with me. The other thing too, and I want to say this is 100% correct. Just because you get like your stamps stained does not mean that like you can't use them again. I fully agree with that. However, there's just something so disheartening to me when I'm trying to like stamp something and I just have an image just stained and I'm like, oh, it doesn't help my mindset when I'm crafting. I have one of the funniest things is one of the very first lives that I did, I used the I'm Wishing stamp set. And the little princess in that set, I decided to stamp her in red ink, and it's one of those red inks that stain, and oh, my poor little princess is red. She is red. That's okay. All right, so we're going, this is some V quadruple 0, just to kind of give, oh, you got a little bit of barking from your buddy. Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna go in and color this again. But I don't know, staining stamps, cutting stamps apart doesn't work for me the best. Dope. Sorry about that, you guys. There is no way to fully avoid it with the dogs barking, but that's okay. Perfect. And then I just want to go in one more time with this because I see that I made a little bit of a boo-boo down here. Perfect. Just to get a nice blend. All right. So this is doing nicely. That's really all the coloring that we're going to be doing today. Take a quick water break. All right, so what I want to do next is I want to stamp my sentiment inside of my little sign. And I want to show you guys, we're going to use the Manor Haunt set. It says Spirits from Beyond, so we're going to use the Spirit. And then it says Happy Halloween right here, so that's what we're going to use. So I've got to kind of space it out. So we're gonna do, let's see. A little bit of mint tape. So I need to mask off that S. Do it like that. And then we're going to stamp it. This is going to work nicely. All right, so we've got Spirit. And then do Halloween, but I want to hit this with a heat gun really quick, just because I don't want to smear. Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna use this Halloween sentiment. I kind of love the mixing and matching. This could actually be, I could have done it a little closer. Phooey. Let me see. Let me see if this will work. Instead of using the horror set, is this one? This one's a little longer. Let's use the Spellbinding Family set that just came out. That actually looks a little too long. No, this will work. The only thing that stinks is I can't really curve it. Don't say never. Never say never. Just kind of manipulating the stamp. So hold on one second. Sure. Go ahead and mask it off. Sorry, I get quiet when I'm trying to focus, and that was definitely one of those times. so let's go ahead. Shoot, I almost just hit a boo-boo. All right, hold on one second, I've got to reset. You guys see, I got to make sure that everything lines up nicely and that I don't have any little bits and bobs that are going to transfer over when I don't need them to, and that's what we're dealing with. But it's okay, I will figure this out. Sorry, that is why I got an idea what to do. All right, got that. I think I'm just gonna tear these in half because that'll let me mask these words a little bit better. If this doesn't work, we're just gonna use the other one. Make sure to be careful with these because they're inky. And I should be able to stamp this. So actually, this might be pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I am not gonna complain. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up. I'll bring it up a little closer to you guys so y'all can see. Sorry about my silence, but it is not bad. All right, so let's clean. And we'll do a little heating just so we get everything nice and set, and then we can start working on putting everything together. Put this back. Cool, I did. I think this Mannerhahn set is like almost 3 years old. Maybe already is 3 years old. My goodness. All right, let's heat set the sentiment. I'm gonna go in. I've got a super fine Copic marker that's a black marker just to kind of darken these letters. Perfect. Cut it out right on the line. And then one thing that I like to do when I cut right on the line, I need to put this little sentiment away, is I like to kind of clean up the edge with a Copic multi-liner brush pen. And that just helps give it that, like, you know when you stamp an image and it's a black line, that's what it's stamping? This kind of helps reinforce the black line that you're cutting on, because when you cut directly on it, you kind of, compromise not be the best word, but you kind of take away the vibrance. Oh my God, I just had a heart attack because I saw blue on here and I'm like, where did that come from? But it gives a little bit of darkness back to the line that you cut on. So I just take a Copic multi-liner brush. This is the small brush. I always do it from behind because it gives me a little bit more control. You don't want to accidentally color on the front of your image. Perfect. All right, so I am gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and adhere this to our building. We'll come back to it in a little bit. Because I want to show you guys the mechanism I came up with to kind of make this whole transformative shop idea work. So I made it like a mock-up, and it's actually more like a fallback. So if my one that I'm gonna make you guys isn't gonna work, I can always use this. But I wanna make, it's just an A2 card base. However, this is acetate, so I should be able to put something underneath it and then something on top, so when you open it, it'll be allowing it to transform. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, let's take, I have the Spooky Hotel paper pack, which by the way is perfect for the recent Monster Hug set that just came out. Let's just take this out. Then let me go ahead and trim this. All right. So we're gonna do A2 size, so 5.5, 4 1/4. Perfect. And then what we're gonna do in order to make my window, I am gonna go ahead and take some nested rectangle dies. And I don't know, I can tell you afterwards what the size is. But I've got a set of nested rectangle dies, and I'm going to use the third largest one to cut out my window. So I'm gonna try my best to center it. Center it, making everything nice and even. I think just like that should be good. Let's hope, fingers crossed. And then I'm gonna take out my die cutting machine, grab that. Everything is nice and lined up. Hello, Patsy. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. I feel like it's just a little off. I feel like it needs to go over just a little bit this way. So that's the one thing about dies, is lining them up. But it'll be fine. Okay. Right. So now I have this nice little frame that I can save for later. But I also have an A2 sized card base that I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my die, line it up so it's centered again, like that. Let's get this all put into place. Here we go. So now I should have a card base that matches that frame that I just did. Just like that. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead, put my die cut away so I don't lose it, because that tends to happen to me often. Oh my gosh, I'm already looking at my desk being like, it's a mess, it's a mess. It's okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. I can take the toy store set and put it away. All right, take my die cutting plates and put those away. And then I told you guys I'd measure what size die I use for my rectangle. It looks like it's about 3.5 by, it's about 3.5 by 4 3/4. That's about what I'm coming up with. So then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I should actually make sure this is nice and reinforced. So I'm gonna take my score pad and just make sure we've got a nice scored line right here. Wonderful. Okay. It's about as good as it's gonna get. And then I'm gonna go in and grab a piece of acetate. I do have some Hero Arts acetate, and I'm using like a specified acetate because these are really nice and thick, and I wanted to make sure my paper still had some weight to it. Hello, Amy. Thanks for stopping by. And let's go ahead and trim this. And I'm gonna trim this just a smidge smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That way I know it'll fit nicely. Okay. Perfect, we are getting there. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take my glue and just do kind of a nice thin line close to the die cut window. I can use the center die cut area to kind of help maneuver. And then I'm gonna take my acetate and put it into place. And actually what I'm gonna do, just to make sure it adheres nicely, is I have this huge acrylic block from my stash. I just like to put it on top, just to make sure everything's gonna be nice and connected. All right, let's see. Oh, Gwen, you're so sweet. Don't forget the like button. Of course I love when you guys like the video, but I appreciate all the love. That's what we're gonna do. All right. So I've got that, and then what I can do, I thought I lost my frame. So make sure this is still, okay, it's gonna open nicely. And then let's go in. I'm gonna do some glue on top of the adhesive. Try not to use too much, because I feel like when you press it on acetate, it smears, but we're getting there. Love this. Such a fun effect. And there's so many different cards that you're going to be able to use a format like this for. It doesn't even have to like transform. It could just be that you want to open it and it's like an open scene without the character standing there. All right. So look, so we've got another card base that has this acetate window. All right, so now it's just kind of like, we'll build a background. I want to do a scene kind of in the back. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this paper and trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I just wanted to kind of give like a spooky sky. So let's take some crackling campfire, my orange brush. Just gonna kind of darken the sky a little bit. And this is the distressing. I just like how it works on this colored paper that I'm using. All right. All right. Perfect. And let's take a little bit of black soot. To darken the sky a little bit, give it a little bit of a spooky glow. I'll probably have to go in with that crackling campfire over it. It's still a little smudgy, but that's okay. Make a spooky sky, and we're gonna of course add a little bit of embellishment to it. So let's go ahead, do some splatters. Where'd my brush go? There it went. Perfect. And set this to the side and just do a little bit of cleaning. I'm gonna add a little bit more embellishment too. I've got this very almost empty bottle of sparkle silk, and this is gonna add some fun splatters to the sky. It's gonna add some nice sparkle. All right, I'll show you guys that a little bit more closely. See how it catches that shimmer? Oh, Audra's come in with some details. I don't know, you guys. This black board is just a little, I don't know. It's nice and all, but something a little bit more colorful might be nice. So stay tuned. You might see a new board popping up very quickly. And Audra hopped on. See, I gotta scroll back a little bit. And then Amy's here, of course. She was at the expo. Oh, the metal tip went flying from your glue. Never fun. Never fun, but I hope you found it. If you didn't, at least it's not that expensive to replace. All right, so what we're gonna do next is, because I'm setting a little bit of a scene and, oh phooey, I had a strip of gray paper that went missing. That's okay, I can figure it out. Let's go ahead. We're going to blend up some trees that I cut with the tree scene craft die. No, we're gonna start from the bottom. That's always what you do. It's a little splotchy, but I'm just gonna work it up and I can always cover the splotchiness. I'm not too worried about it. Buena Fred. No, ma'am. All right, blending this all nice and up. Make sure to cover that splotchy area. That is really splotchy. Okay. We will get that situated. So let's go ahead. Adhere this. I always like to make it look a little bit like a neighborhood. So that's what I'm attempting to do. All right, I can always trim off the excess. And then let me grab, oh, we're good. I just gotta cut a new piece. Just like that. That'll be great. Just go in. I feel like I might need my foam blender, but we'll see. Just going in with the excess black soot, just to kind of make like a street sidewalk scenario. Ooh, this is getting there. Perfect. All right, so let's go in. And then put this down like here. Grab my scissors. Checking on comments in a second. All right. So let's get this all nice and put in to our card. So it's gonna sit inside here so that when we close it, it looks like a little scene. Go ahead, get this nice. Make sure that it's level. Where'd my block go? Okay, so we're getting there. So we're gonna go ahead and put our store right inside. And you know there's a bunch of fun little Kindred Town like bits and bobs that you can use to jazz up your little neighborhood. So by all means, jazz it up if you want. All I'll do a little bit more. I think it could be a little better. Just trying to make sure everything is nice and level. Just to grab my T-ruler, but that's okay. Okay, so let's see. Karen, it might be Kindred Purple. You don't know. Maybe. You're going to have to stay tuned for more details. Gwen says, I'm having trouble with smooth blending. Do you like brushes or foam? Gwen, I really like the foam more than the brushes. They work better for me. Especially if it's oxides. I am a huge proponent of foam with oxides. All right, so we're going to take the toy store sign and put it directly on top, just like that. And then we're gonna take the closed sign and put it right in the window, just like that. And then, okay, so y'all ready? So, we've got our toy store and it's closed, but then it turned Halloween time and now it's a spirit store. So you could stamp a really fun sentiment down here if you wanted to. You could use it to make other stores into a Halloween store. A lot of fun, different ideas. So I don't know. I think this is a really fun sort of live. I don't know what I would want to do for a sentiment for this. Let's see. Do we even want to add one? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, nothing from Manor Haunts really speaks to me with this one. No. It would be kind of funny if you did in a world full of princesses be a witch, since it's like a dress-up card. But I just kind of like it the way it is. I know it's very simple, but it's cute. I like it. I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep this the way that it is. I don't want to really add a sentiment on or anything, but I really like the clean cutness of it. So I think this is a lot of fun. Fun way to stretch your Kindred Town stamp sets. And even though I use the toy store set, just remember, you can use any of the Kindred Towns. They all come with nice big buildings, and you can figure out one that's going to work nicely. My thought was just that a toy store would lend itself nicely to be transformed into a Halloween shop. So thank you guys all so very much for being here. I'll do a quick recap. This was the Kindred Town Toys and Crafts store that we used. I also used for our little border. This is the spooky hotel paper. I also used the tree scene craft die as well. And that was really, and then we also used sentiments from the new Spellbinding family set and the Manor Haunt stamp set. So yep, there you guys have it. We've got our little closed up toy shop turned into a Halloween store. So thank you all so very much for being here. I can't believe this is the last live of August. Don't forget, we do still have the August challenge open for birthday cards, which closes at the end of the month. I believe the winner gets a $20 gift certificate to the Kindred Stamps website to go ahead and shop. Always nice to put it towards a future release, especially next month's. I know we just got done with the August release, but from what I know about the September release, I think you guys are going to really like it. So stay tuned for that. Also, too, I believe you are considered to be possibly a Kindred guest designer in the future if you win the challenge as well. So make sure to enter if you haven't yet. And then, yeah, thank you guys all so very much. I'll be back next month with, of course, 2 more lives. We'll do one for the September challenge theme, and we'll do another one for probably more Halloween stuff. It's my favorite crafting time of year. August, September, and October, I just love cranking out Halloween cards, so I'm thinking we'll probably look towards that. Thank you guys all so very much for being here. Thank you to Gwen and Wendy and Karen and Chris Kristen. Wendy says, have a frightfully good holiday season from... Oh, that's a good one. That's a good idea, Wendy. That would fit perfectly. And thank you, Alyssa and Patsy and just everyone. If I missed you, I'm very sorry, but I appreciate each and every one of y'all for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. I hope if you placed your Kindred Stamps August release order that you're excited to get it in your hands, and I can't wait to see what you guys make with it. So I'll see you around for the next live. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.